Welcome to The Ripple, where extraordinary women executives get real about their career journeys. This season, thanks to our partnership with GNW Consulting, you'll hear even more stories from women leaders about how they're building visibility for themselves, their careers, and their companies. I'm your host, Ashley Laabs, and today we're joined by the unstoppable Lindsay Tjepkema. She's the founder of Human Brands Win and visionary B2B marketing leader who joins us to share what it means to make hard decisions in the name of authenticity. Lindsay, thank you so much for being with us. It's always a pleasure to chat with you.
I have been really looking forward to this conversation for
Me too.
months.
Oh my gosh, I know. And it feels like, when you schedule these things months in advance, it feels like they're so far away, but then they sneak right up on you.
It's true. It's true. And I'm here for it. And this is going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. I want to give our listeners some context into your journey into visibility. I know that you have been a founder and now you're speaking on stages a lot. And as we got ready to shoot this episode, you dropped the bomb on me. I thought you had sold your company, but you left. And I want to dive into this because I think that is such a bold move when you start something. Can you tell me about your journey to leave your company that you founded and start speaking on stages?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone starts a company and becomes a founder planning to leave. Planning to exit, maybe. Planning to build something big was why I did it. I wanted to solve a problem that I had as a marketer, and I was pretty obsessed with, leading this movement, and did that for 5 years. And then, after 5 years and 3 rounds of venture capital and, growth at all costs, shifting to pursuing profitability and pandemic and banking collapses and all the things, what had started as that vision and that passion turned into financial models, exceptional amounts of pressure from investors and board members to chase the money and to chase the most lucrative business opportunities, not pursue the vision of the company, which I still very, very much believed in. And I just kind of took a step back and I was like, this isn't it anymore. This isn't it anymore. And so much so that I left. I didn't exit. I didn't, in the sense of the SaaS world, I didn't exit. I didn't sell. They're still going on, and I left. And now I've turned around and I at least try to take everything that I learned in the founder and CEO seat and in 20 years of marketing to be that helpful, supportive voice and guide that I felt like I needed when I was in that role.
Why did that lead you to the stage?
I've been happiest and most comfortable with a microphone in my face since I was a little girl. So if I'm not podcasting, being up on a stage, being able to hopefully impact people en masse and be helpful and inspiring, I really enjoy it. And hopefully I'm making a difference. But yeah, that and consulting and advising and speaking and all the things.
I love that, that you feel so comfortable with a microphone in your face, as you said, because it's just a reminder that something that feels like a universal fear to a lot of people, like, of course, everybody's afraid of getting on stage. Everybody's afraid of being in front of the mic. Some people just absolutely love it. And it's funny to me to think that some people are in heaven in someone else's personal hell.
Yeah. And also the converse of that is I've always, whether I even really thought it or not, kind of figured that everybody wants to do this. Everybody wants to go speak. Everybody wants to record, but that's also not the case. And so I think one of the things that this show talks about and that I know we're going to talk about today is owning that and being okay with that. And regardless of what people say and tell you what you should do and tell you what you shouldn't do, leaning into the things that you really are passionate about. For one, not everybody else is. And two, that's where you can be most hopeful and create the most impact for yourself, but hopefully for a lot of other people too.
It's so true. I think there's a lot of advice that focuses on how to deal with showing up when it's your personal nightmare, right? Like how to just get over it and do it anyway, even though it's not who you are and it's not what you want to do. And there's less conversation about, hey, you love this. And there's a part of you that aches to be doing this and you're stopping yourself. Why is that? Did you ever struggle with that? Like, was there this passion and love and an excitement to do this kind of work, to be visible, but you were holding yourself back from doing it?
100% yes. Yeah.
What did that look like?
There are naysayers, I think, to your point, building off of what you just said. When you start to step into the thing or the things that light your fire, that you were designed to do, there will be 100% of the time, there will be naysayers that tell you you can't or you shouldn't, that will poke at the things that that were said to you when you were little, that people told you you can't or you shouldn't. And mine, it was like, well, who does she think she is? Oh, she thinks she can just like be on stage and like, oh, the spotlight's on her. And which has never been my intention. Like I love it and I want to be helpful. Like we've all seen some stuff and I want to take the stuff that I've seen to be like, look, me too. Like we've been through the like same. I'm here to help. For me, all throughout my life and throughout my career, even especially, yes, definitely as a CEO and founder, there was a lot of like, who does she think she is? Who do you think you are? So I quite often shrank down and became small because of, frankly, the small people and the loud voices that carried. And finally, in leaving my company, I was like, you know what? No more. No. We don't make ourselves small for small people. Not anymore.
Yeah, small people with loud voices. That is a memorable line, I think. Something I'm going to be thinking about. But making the choice to leave your own company, to me, feels like a moment of reclaiming your authenticity, right? And realigning with your values and just not being willing to shrink anymore. What was it like for you to start reconnecting with that after spending a lot of time meeting the expectations of others?
Oh, man. Tough. Gosh, anytime you look, I mean, Brene Brown, I always say she's my best friend. She doesn't know who I am, but we're best friends. Like if she just...
Same.
We would just
Absolutely.
meet, then we would be best friends. Just that tiny detail. She talks a lot about it. Lots of other people talk about it. The messy middle, that like there's the beginning and then there's the successful end, but nobody really talks about that messy, painful middle. And so I made the decision to leave. It was also as part of that was when my family was moving from Indiana to Boston. And so it was like, burn it down. Okay, apparently we're just burning it all down and we're just going to go rebuild over here, which was not the point, but what ended up happening. And yeah, it was a journey. I knew it in my head, but I hadn't really felt it in my being, how much I had completely enmeshed myself with the business and with the brand and with the mission and with the vision and the opportunity. And so when that was gone, it was like, oh gosh, now what? I don't know what to do with my hands. It was like, but it was, which depending on the day, some days was scary and some days was beautiful. And yeah, I think that anybody who goes through something massive like that, you pour everything into it. And when it's like, wait, this isn't actually it, I need to pour myself back into me and the people closest to me and something much more intentional. It's tough. I'm not going to lie at all. It was tough. I was talking to somebody else who had gone through something completely different, but similar life transition. And she was like, just like healing from like a major surgery or like a major injury or something, you can't rush it. Like you can't make it go faster. You just have to go through it. And so that was absolutely true for me.
You know that moment when the one person who knows how everything works suddenly doesn't work there anymore? Your go-to person is gone, and no one seems to know how to use one of your critical platforms. It happens. GNW Consulting can step in when your team hits that kind of gap. They keep things running while you figure out the next move, whether that's backfiling, rethinking the stack, or just getting your footing again. They've got the skills, the calm, and the context to make transitions feel a lot less stressful. Plus, they're a big supporter of Wednesday Women and the way we amplify women execs authentically. So check out GNWconsulting.com to learn how they can support teams during pivotal moments and make life easier for modern marketing orgs. Yeah, that's really good advice and applies to so many things, of course. But I think being yourself again and trusting yourself again after that kind of experience where your success is dependent upon performing to other people's expectations and a lot of time just negotiating away from yourself and your judgments.
Yes.
that is not a switch that flips.
No. But you get there you give up pieces of yourself without realizing it, piece by piece, until you take a step back and you're like, I've given it all away. And then reclaiming it, it's nothing beats it. There's nothing better, but it doesn't look the way you think it's going to look. It doesn't happen the way you think it's going to happen. And it certainly does not happen on the timeline you wish it would. But if anybody is teetering on something similar and this is like resonating, it's worth it. It is worth it.
How do you check yourself when you're, you get to a certain point in this journey and you feel reconnected to yourself sometimes, and, you're getting better at this all the time, but every situation is a test, right? There's that friction against what you're trying to do. And it's like, well, am I going to be myself, or am I going to be who I used to be? Am I going to be what somebody else wants me to be? How do you check yourself in those moments and kind of stay on the true path?
One thing that I think even avoiding going as far down the path as I did and as others I know have, before you even get there, one question that I started asking myself because of something I had read or something was like, we all know and hear a lot, like, don't define yourself by your failures. That's not who you are. You can't define yourself by the worst mistake you made or the loss that you had. Like, you're better than that. Like, there's tons of motivational talks and books and quotes that say don't define yourself by your failures. Also, you cannot define yourself by your successes either. If you are in a place where you're like, I had this big win, I feel good about myself. I had this deal closed, this thing went through, I got picked, I was seen, I was chosen, I was selected, I was recognized. That feels good. Sure, it can feel good, but I think that's how you check yourself. You cannot define yourself by your failures, sure, but you also cannot define yourself by your successes, because that's other people telling you you're good enough. You have to take a step back and say, that felt good, that felt bad, I'm still me. Period. Which is real tough.
Yeah, I think so many of the women in our audience, they are high-achieving women, and I think so many of them, just even with the conversations I've had in this community, they're so successful and they're driven by that.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to peel back our attachment to the outcome.
Yes. Because the world, that's what the world has taught us our whole lives. I mean, and high-achieving women get there by largely, I'm sure that there are some anomalies out there who have, and I think we all kind of know them. They're the wonderful mystical creatures who have found success by somehow being amazingly true to themselves and, have weathered storms and sometimes, but most of them became high-achieving women by putting it all on our back and being asked every day, how do you do it all? How do you balance it all?
What a terrible question.
Right? Some it's kids, some it's friends, some it's pets, some it's the house, some it's job and how fast you climbed there and social advocacy and volunteering or whatever it is. You get there by doing it all. And again, giving yourself piece by piece by piece.
Yeah.
And the world rewards it. And it's like, oh my gosh, you haven't slept and you're raising tiny humans and you're volunteering and you're, advocating for this and you're leading this team and you're guiding this board and, you're rising the ranks. Good job. But for what? Mm-hmm. And then you get to a point, and I'm 42, and a lot of women that I know at this stage take a step back and they're like, what is happening? What is happening? Because a lot of that starts to fall apart. The people grow up or the job falls through or, your relevance changes or the algorithm shifts of life.
Gosh.
And
And,
health things happen and friends change and parents age. And you're like, what's happening? Why? Why am I here? And you start to question things. And there's this sometimes not on purpose, sometimes unintentional, sometimes very intentional, dismantling and rebuilding that I think happens where on the other side, we're talking about, it's painful, but man, is it worth it?
Yeah. Well, it's all painful, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talk about the process of owning your voice and acting in ways that are aligned with your values. That's a painful process. But the other side of that, and the reason I say that being asked, how do you do it all, is such a bad question is because we rarely answer it honestly,
Yeah. Oh,
right?
no.
Yeah,
Oh,
oh, like, and when we ask that question, we want the silver bullet answer,
yeah.
right? We want someone to have advice that we can take and then also do it all. But the reality is, most of the time when I talk to women who are having it all, doing it all, I don't know how you do it all, the real answer is I am in so much pain. I am so lonely.
Yep.
I feel like nobody cares to help me in the
This
ways that
isn't
I need.
sustainable.
Yeah, right? And that's painful.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, I don't know, choose your hard, right?
Yeah. It's so true. It's so true. And more conversations like this. And I love how you get into it in this show and how you just, Ashley, you just get it. Just like everyone you talk to, you're like this. And it's like, yep, that's what I was trying to say. But I think the more and more and more we have these conversations, the more we're normalizing what does having it all even mean and why and for who? Like,
Yeah.
like we've been asking for what for a long time, but like another question I ask myself and sometimes the clients that I work with is who benefits from you doing this? Who benefits
Mm,
from you making this decision, from you making that sacrifice? Like, is it your investors? Is it your boss? Is it your someone else? And sometimes, of course, like we give, like we're here for others. Like sometimes it's like, well, this person that I care a lot about, great. But if it's somebody or something like that maybe you don't realize like, oh, they're the ones who are going to benefit, not me, not the people or the thing or the entity or the organization that I care most about. It's this other thing. Like, I think that's an important question to ask too.
I think so too. And to ask it really about the moment that you're in, because so often we will sacrifice ourselves in the moment, in the decision, in the situation, because there's the potential of something.
Especially founders, like everyone, every woman for sure. But like I work a lot with founders and the celebrating of like laying yourself down to be run over by the truck is that like, yeah, that's what you do as a founder. Like that's founder mode. And it just couldn't be further from the truth. Like once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's like, no, actually your company and your employees and your customers and your investors need you to be focused and healthy and doing the thing that you are uniquely positioned to do, like not fitting into a mold, not being like every other CEO in their portfolio, not, raising and prioritizing and MVPing and AIing the way that everybody else is. Like you are doing a disservice to all of your stakeholders by trying to be like everyone else. But by instead prioritizing you and embracing what makes you uniquely you, that's your competitive advantage. No one else has you. And yet, especially women who are not stereotypical founders get pushed into a box and like told to be somebody else because that's what's comfortable for everyone else. But if you can circumvent that and embrace who you are, that's where the joy and the success ultimately happens.
So, my last question to you is, if you think about yourself back then and the moments that you were doing those things, that you were, sacrificing yourself, laying yourself on the line, willing to go into like sort of a really toxic founder mode to just make things happen, right? What advice would you give to that woman about how to build her reputation and to build her career without sacrificing who she is?
I would tell her to spend a little bit more time alone with my thoughts and my journal, listening to myself and my instincts and my gut and my vision, and to not get so clouded by the literal and figurative voices of so many other people around me. You know so much more than you think you know. Your biggest challenge is not knowing more, but trusting yourself more. 100%.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Lindsay. This was a really great conversation.
Thank you. Why am I so fast?
It really did. But I don't know about you, having these kinds of conversations just kind of gets the blood moving through my heart and kind of unclogs some stuff and makes me feel really good the rest of my day. So I'm glad we talked about this.
Well, good. I'm glad. And I love talking to you too. So let's just make this a regular thing. And
Okay, great.
it'll be
Weekly
great.
sessions with Lindsay.
Perfect. Done.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us, and I can't wait to see you around LinkedIn.
Sounds good. You too, Ashley.
Now that we're at the end of today's episode, we hope you will reflect on how Lindsay's story might inspire your own. Are there places in your life where performing to the expectations of others is getting in the way of doing what you really love? And which parts of having it all actually matter, and which parts are just draining your energy?
If today's show inspired you to think of an extraordinary woman leader in your life, let her know about the Wednesday Women Executive Membership. It's a safe space for women leaders to tackle any challenge, ask questions, and uplift others. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please give us a review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Your ratings help us grow and inspire even more people. Thank you to our Season 2 sponsor, GNW Consulting, to our executive producers, Melissa Moody and Leslie Greenwood, and to our technical producer, Yelena Georgievich, with Kind Media Productions. I'm your host, Ashley Laabs, hoping this small ripple creates a big wave in your life. Until next time.